Creativity requires work and discipline. It's not just this spur of the moment thing, like Bob Ross going crazy and painting a big picture in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. I want to talk about the creative process a little bit. So, as you guys know, I talked about it in a previous episode. I read Stephen King's On Writing, which is essentially his manual to the creative process, how he goes about stories, and tips for writers to become better creators, essentially. And I do a lot of writing. I have some other podcasts and channels that I do write for. I know this one I've gotten away from writing, mostly so I can write for those other channels. So I've really been trying to zone in on my creative process. So Stephen King, he details his process of writing, and he's obviously this, generational writing talent, right? It's like 35 bestsellers, which I actually wasn't that familiar with his work before, but you got to hand it to the guy. He's clearly figured out a formula that works with creativity. And his process is he sits down every single day at the same time. He even does this on Christmas Day, he said, every day, no exceptions. And he writes 2,000 words for whatever story that he's working on at that time. It doesn't matter if he's having writer's block or he can't think of something to write. He writes something, okay? He gets it down on the page. Some days it's garbage, some days it's okay, and some days it's revolutionary work. And my biggest takeaway from this book, from his process and from his tips, is that creativity is a learned skill, right? I think you can have certain genetic components that might predispose you to being more friendly towards the idea of creativity, like you're more of an out-of-the-box thinker. I think I am naturally, and that's just based on who your parents or your grandparents are. But creativity is a process. It's not just something that you have or don't have. I actually liken it to social skills, which is something I've worked on a lot and I've been thinking about a lot as well throughout my whole life, really, because I would consider myself a very naturally somewhat socially awkward person. Not extremely so, and probably more of it has been in my head than people actually recognize, but somewhat so. I spent a lot of time alone growing up. I was homeschooled for a period of time growing up, and that kind of stunts the social development to a point. So I found when I moved to college, there was a big catch-up process of learning how to interact with adults, learning how to have social skills, learning how to make people laugh and have friends and just enjoy life with other people. I've gotten so much better at that now, to the point where I still overthink things a lot and my mind goes 1,000 miles a second sometimes, but I'm in like an account management job right now. So it's very people focused, very sales heavy. I've had to get good at social skills, and it's been an incredibly rewarding experience. Now, some people, like I have some friends, one in particular I'm thinking of, just based on who his parents are, he's just a socializer by nature. He's such an outgoing guy. He's fun to be around. And I don't think that's something that he works on, right? It's just how he is naturally. I liken that to creativity. You can have naturally creative people. You can have naturally outgoing people who are great at socializing, but you can also develop social skills just by practice and repetition and research, trying things out, right? And the same is with creating stuff. Creativity requires work and discipline. It's not just this spur of the moment thing, like Bob Ross going crazy and painting a big picture in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. because he had this vision in his head. Those things do happen. That's the ideation process, which is essential to creativity. And it's probably the most mysterious and the least controllable part of the creative process. It's just the ideas, like where they come from. I have no damn idea. And that's from Stephen King too, is it all starts with the idea. He even said, no one has any idea where these ideas come from. I think you can take in good content and that can maybe help your brain to work out some of your own unique concepts. But the ideas will be a spur of the moment thing. And it's in those moments when you need to record it. I'll do voice memos on my phone just because I have my phone on me most of the time. If it's a podcast idea, video idea, whatever it is, I'll just do like a 30-second or sometimes a 10-minute entry as I flush out these ideas. Then I can look back at them later and make a podcast episode from them. So capturing the idea is very important. But then you just have to go to work on a daily basis, setting aside some time every single day to flush out this creative idea and continually improve it and refine it and write some more. And it can be really difficult, right? Like after I read Stephen King's book, I started writing on a daily basis. I don't do 2,000 words. I do a minimum of 500. A lot of times it's more than that. But the first time I started, it was like pulling teeth. Like I really have struggled from writer's block a lot in the past where I just don't know what to write. But that's something you get over the more you practice writing, the more you practice creation. The ideas and the content is going to start to flow naturally. I liken creativity to working out, where if you've never picked up a weight in your entire life and you go to the gym, it's going to be hard. You're going to feel out of place. You're going to be really sore the next day. But if you keep up that daily habit of a little bit of exercise, you're going to get better and better, and your body's going to get more accustomed to things. You're going to get to the point after really years of doing it. I look at kind of 5 years as the minimum of getting really good at something. 10 years is really what's required for mastery. If you've been working out for 10 years and you go into a gym, you're just going to know what to do, right? Your body is responsive to the workouts, it's used to it, and you're going to stay in great shape that way. And the same goes for creation. You're going to feel like a fish out of water at first, but as you create more on a daily basis, it's just going to start to flow naturally, and you're going to be able to bring your own unique voice to the world. So as I'm wrapping things up today, what I want to leave you with is, if you create anything, if you're a podcaster, if you're a writer, if you're a painter, and what I hope is this show does attract those type of creative thinkers, set a goal for yourself every day. Say, if you're a writer, you're going to sit down every day and write 500 words, regardless how long it takes. If that's 10 minutes or it's 10 hours, I don't care. You got to get the result down. If you're a painter, commit to one new piece every week. I'm not really artistically gifted that way, but you know what I'm saying. You got to keep the production of your ideas moving forward, or else nothing is going to happen. So take your ideas into the world and create something great for other people to enjoy.